Center stage today was Brock Purdy versus Jimmy Garoppolo. It was like the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other. The undercard, the opening act, let's call it the undercard. Trey Lance versus Sam Darnold. I think this is interesting. The Niners aren't having a competition for the starting quarterback. They're having a backup quarterback competition. And it's like, it's a legit competition. They split all the reps. Unless Trey Lance fumbles a snap, in which case Sam Darnold gets more. It's very strange. And I think everyone that's at camp would agree. Through 12 days, Trey Lance is unquestionably better than Sam Darnold. Not close. Trey Lance is improving. Sam Darnold isn't. Trey Lance is good. Sam Darnold's not. I think most people would agree with that. And my question is, why is this a competition? I understand Kyle Shanahan saying, look, Brock Purdy, what he did last year, it was special. Even though I'm skeptical, I could see people saying like, look, I'm not going to bench Brock Purdy in a 7-1 record for Trey Lance at this time. Not going to happen. That's defensible. But to then say that Trey Lance isn't even good enough to be placed above the depth chart, above Sam Darnold on the depth chart, I don't get that. Because Sam Darnold has been terrible his entire career. Trey Lance has only played a little bit and gotten hurt. And throughout this competition, Trey has just been better. How? You might be asking me. Well, I think timing is a huge thing. A lot of people felt that Trey used to hesitate. Not as much anymore. He's much more decisive. You can watch his head. It comes down to watching the dude's head. Pause. Because when you watch Trey, he drops back and gets through his progressions quickly. With urgency. Boom, boom, boom. Like that. Brock Purdy, too, to his credit. Brandon Allen, too, to his credit. It's a boom, boom, boom tempo when they're moving their head looking for receivers. Sam Darnold, his is his tempo. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know what to do. Let me scramble out. Let's scramble. No, I'll throw downfield. Oh, intercepted. That's the Sam Darnold experience. He's terrible. It's not just like the turnovers are the end result of him not knowing what the hell he's looking at. And him just locking on his first. He seems like he's going out there with no confidence saying, hey, man, I got Kyle Shanahan calling plays and I'm just going to trust him wherever he tells me. Whatever the first read is, I'm going there. And if it's not open, he's going to watch that guy for a while. Like, he's going to get open eventually. It's freaking Brandon Ayuk. And if he doesn't, he's like, well, I don't know what to do now. That's not playing quarterback. And that's not what Trey Lance does. What I think is cool about Trey Lance, he may not be better than Brock Purdy right now. I don't know. They're not competing. It's hard to compare them. But you can see for sure that his timing and rhythm in the pocket is way better than it used to be. It's like Brock Purdy. It's better than Darnold. His accuracy is better than Darnold. His release is quicker than Darnold. I don't understand why this is a quarterback competition. The competition should be between Darnold and Brandon Allen. And frankly, I would think Allen would win that because Allen knows the offense. He was with the Bengals, the same system essentially. And I don't know, he doesn't freaking hesitate like Darnold does. I don't know why the Niners thought Darnold would have this great rebirth here. And why they keep waiting for it when it's happening with Lance right next to him. And they're like, no, it's going to happen with Darnold. Forget Darnold. He doesn't matter. Lance is the one you moved heaven and earth to get. He's the one you mortgaged the future for. He's the one who's improving. And you're like, I don't care. I'm not moved. We want to see more of Sam Darnold. That is the most bizarre thing of training camp. Trey and Purdy should be competing. And if Purdy wins, great. I don't understand why they're afraid to have Purdy compete. If he's so much better than Trey Lance, let him compete. Purdy will win. Making Lance compete with Darnold it's so weird and inexplainable, it almost seems personal. What did Lance say to you? What is going on? Because I've watched Sam Darnold in person for a few weeks and man, I'm going to tell you what he looks like. He looks like Sam Darnold. You know what Sam Darnold looks like. That's what he looks like. Super strange. Nathan Flores. I'm guessing Brock, Kittle, Fred, Kittle, Armstead, and who else for captains? Brock, Kittle, Fred, Kittle. How about younger guys who've been out there the entire time? How about Hufanga, Gibson, Warner, Hargrave, Greenlaw? Who else? Jake Brendel? Not Juszczyk. Ayuk. How about Debo? If you make Debo a captain, does that make him more motivated? You're a leader, Debo. How about that? I think that could work because I think Debo has a leader in him. Pause. LC says, what are your plans for tomorrow? This shit again. Go to the Raiders and not be able to watch and pretend like I did. Not pretend. Can't believe the Raiders practice situation. It's just gross. I'm going to talk about it in a little bit, Antonio. I've been to some of these joint practices. It just wasn't generous what they did. When can we ask Kyle Shanahan when Trey Lance gets to compete for quarterback one? Niners daddy. Good question. Let's see what he does in the preseason game coming up. Cody Walker says, if all Raiders practices are like this, does that mean that the reporters have been able to see Jimmy throw picks from a mile away? To be fair, you know when a quarterback throws a pick because the defense goes crazy. That's like the easiest thing to tell. Josh Wyatt, can we start calling him Sam Dismal? Yeah, sure. Ayuk Madden rating higher than Debo, says Joshua. Should be. Although, I think it should be. I just think Debo's a better fit for this offense. It's a run-first offense. He can play running back. You have a weak arm quarterback. He runs the shallow routes. Ayuk to be fully taken advantage of, that's not the right phrase, would be in like a vertical passing offense. I still feel if you took Justin Jefferson off the Vikings and put Brandon Ayuk on that team in that role, he might not be as good as Justin Jefferson, who's supposed to be the best in the world, but I think his numbers would be freaking comparable. Real close. And I can not prove that. RJ says, here's $2. I appreciate it. Kevin, Kyle went on a Kendall Roy bender, yikes, after the Lil Wayne concert and traded up for Lance after watching his highlights. I feel bad for Trey. It's funny that you say that, but it feels like there's some truth to that. I don't know what Kyle was thinking, but it feels like he was about to get Matthew Stafford, lost out, panicked, did like a month's worth of homework on Trey Lance, convinced himself that he was pro-ready, drafted him, brought him into camp, and was like, damn, I was wrong. Oops. He was like, guys, oops. Sorry. You know that guy I mortgaged the future for? I was wrong. Oh, well, at least, Jed's not going to fire me ever, so I don't care. I'll just prop up some 7th round pick and say that he's the real deal, and everyone will believe me because it's San Francisco and they think I'm a genius. Whereas if I tried this in any other market, they'd laugh me out of town. But thank God I'm on the West Coast in this market where everyone just eats it up. It's great. In Washington, me and my dad didn't last for 4 years. So we were out of there. And we went to the playoffs. 4 years. Here, I essentially have a lifetime contract. It's hilarious. So, oops. Sorry, Kevin. Vance, tomorrow can you see the improvement in the DBs? I could, but like they're in Henderson and I'm sort of in Reno. So I don't know if binoculars would do it. I think a telescope would help. Luke says, off topic, my girlfriend hates when I watch you when she's over at my house, but you know I don't let that stop me from watching the show. Hope all is well. Luke, I appreciate that. Because once she says you can't watch Grant Cohn, what's the next thing she's going to say, huh? A man has to make a stand at some point. You can't that's a slippery slope. So I appreciate you, Luke. Thank you for giving me $5 and watching me, even though your girlfriend hates it. Priorities. Teron Lewis says, I agree, Grant. Why not have an open competition and see what your biggest investment can do with CMC and the rest of your weapons? I don't know, because that makes too much sense, Teron. It's too simple. A real genius would have to do something that no one understands. If everyone would do it, why would you? Jay Bell says, y'all forgot that trade was for Watson until all that stuff happened with him. They panicked and traded for Lance. Big time panic. Ivan says, tired of the excuses, get Cousins already, so Kyle has no more excuses. He won't, though, because he knows that will be the end of his excuses. He'll always have an excuse. Are you kidding? Kirk Cousins isn't that good. If they get Kirk Cousins and they don't win the Super Bowl, people will be like, well, Kirk Cousins isn't that good. Right. That's why they should have gotten a real good quarterback.